Morning, Floss Tube. How are you guys today? Today is Sunday, May 31st. It's the last day of May. And the weather here is a little overcast. It's supposed to rain a lot today. It rained a lot yesterday. Yesterday we had thunder, lightning, hard rain. So hopefully the rain will clear up and supposed to have some nicer weather this week, which is good. So hitting June, June can be rainy here, but hoping for some nicer weather makes the days a little bit easier to deal with. Hopefully everyone out there is well and doing good under the circumstances. I don't know what everyone else is dealing with still. I'm work from home still. We'll be work from home for the foreseeable future. So I stay home a lot still. I go to town every couple of weeks or so just to pick up stuff curbside. And I imagine that will be what I continue to do for now. So yeah, our office is probably not going to reopen maybe till the end of summer at this point. And even then we'll be limited staffing in the office. So this is kind of where I'm at home, but it's been kind of nice. I'm getting some things done. I had some landscaping done, just doing some things that needed to be done since I've moved in, but I just haven't had time or wanted to or been forced to or whatever the case may be. But I'm finally getting to the point where those things are happening, which is nice. So anyway, I hope you all are doing well, and I hope that everyone's having a lot of stitching time. May was a good stitching month for me. I think it's been 3 weeks since I did my last video. So I got a lot of stitching done, which I'll show you here shortly. But we'll start at the top of my list and work our way down and go from there. First thing is haul. I have not bought any stitchy related items. If you'll remember from my last video, I've been put on a buying freeze by my mother and my best friend, Melissa, Stitcher Mel. My birthday is at the end of June, and therefore I'm not allowed to buy anything, which is fine. I've been spending my money other places for the first 6 or 8 weeks of self-quarantine. I didn't hardly buy anything, mail order, Amazon, anything. And now all of a sudden I buy all the things. And mostly it's just stuff that I need, stuff that I, have needed or just whatever. And so now I'm buying it. I think at the beginning I wasn't buying a lot because that's not where my head was, but also I didn't have a mailbox out here. I have been getting my mail in town at a post office box because there's a little post office a half a block from where my office is. And I just didn't have the opportunity to have a mailbox installed when I moved in late fall last year. But 2 weeks ago now, my very good friend Sandy and her husband came up, and my dad had bought everything and made sure it all was going to work. And when we did our trip at the end of April, our meet halfway trip to exchange things, that was one of the things that I got from him was the mailbox set up basically. And then about 2 weeks ago, my good friend Sandy and her husband came up, and he dug the hole and set the post and everything. And so I got a mailbox installed. So now I can have all the things delivered. It's kind of amazing what not having residential delivery to your house does for your package delivery issues, for those things that still come postal service, which a lot of things still do. So anyway, it worked out, and now I'm full mail delivery, and so we're on it. Lots of things being ordered, but no stitching related stuff. So no haul. I did have some finishes in the last 3 weeks. It's not a full finish. They're partial finishes because of the nature of this particular piece. It's pumpkin. I'm working on Pumpkin Farm with Melissa as a stitch along. She's done with hers already. She got done with hers earlier this year, and I had kind of poked around on it. And last time I was barely halfway, if not even that much, done with the first. Uh, I'll put a completed picture right up here, but I was barely halfway done with pumpkin truck, if not maybe even not halfway done. But since we last saw each other, I got done with pumpkin truck and I started pumpkin house and finished pumpkin house as well. So I've got both of those finished. I'm doing these as one big piece. So over on this side will be the third one, which is going to be pumpkin patch. So this is on 32 count applesauce by Color and Cotton. Hopefully that's a pretty good representation of the color. But anyway, so pumpkin truck and pumpkin house both got completed. And I really love this piece. It's so pretty. It's pretty tedious to stitch. Shannon Christine, it's all DMC. So all the color variations or colors changes in that piece. And there's a lot of them. Instead of using the fancy floss that gives you that variegation, she did DMC color changes. Totally worth it. Totally looks beautiful, but a lot of color changes. So anyway, so that's what I first worked on. It, like I said, it's been 3 weeks since my last video. It took me the first 2 weeks basically to get this done because of just kind of the color change, all the, you know, the little color changes that had to happen and things like that. So I worked on that for the better part of the first 2 weeks since the last video, but totally worth it. And then I had to put it away because it was driving me crazy with all the color changes. So I needed something that I could stitch on that was not as time consuming or felt like I was making better progress. So I moved on. And with those two finishes, because I did count them as separate two finishes because they're separate charts, that actually gave me Stitch from Stash credit. And now I'm, instead of being $70 in the hole, I'm $58 in the hole. So not buying any stash and actually getting some finishes in has helped with my Stitch from Stash issue. So I'm hoping that in the next month or two, I can actually crawl out of that hole completely. And I'll show you how I think I can get there shortly. But anyway, so those were my finishes. I didn't have any FFOs, though I need to do some FFOing. I need to FFO the June little bits that I had gotten done on the last video that I showed you, because tomorrow is June. So we'll see. I might get it done today. If not, I'll get it done in the next few days. But otherwise, mail continue to hang in my living room until I get June done. So hopefully that'll be an FFO for next time. So besides Pumpkin Patch or Pumpkin Farm that I worked on 2 other pieces. So after I put down Pumpkin Farm last weekend, I needed to get caught up on my temperature tree by Stitchin Mama on Etsy. I was behind almost a month in my leaves, and that's the worst part to be behind on because, again, color changes, and I'm using a temperature range that changes every 3 degrees. So that just means that there's tends to be, you know, a lot of color changes and things like that. So it just becomes tedious. My goal would be to try to do this every week or every other week just to keep the amount down, but that's okay. So I got caught up on the temperatures through May 23rd, which was last Saturday. And then I finished June, July's, and August branches. And I actually started the remaining 4 branches, September through December, and got at least halfway done on all of those as well. So I actually made a ton of progress on this because once I got the leaves caught up, I just kept going. So that is where I'm at on temperature tree. So you can see I got all the leaves caught up over here through May 23rd, June branch done, July branch done, August branch done. And then those 4 branches over there are September, October, November, December. The bottom three are actually over half done. That September branch is probably less than half done, but either way, I'm pretty close to being done with those branches. And then it's just going to be a matter of getting the leaves done. So this is on 32 count platinum Lugana. I love this fabric. It's great. And I'm just loving this piece. Those leaves are so pretty. We had a few warmer days right here. And we're going to actually have in more of those pinks and reds for this last week too. We had some warmer days. So anyway, yeah, so that's my temperature tray by Stitchin Mommy, which I'm really loving how that's working out. So, and honestly, I'm glad that I'm kind of staying caught up on it, to be quite honest with you. That'll mean that by the end of the year, you know, I'll have a finish, which will be really nice because, yeah, I'm going to hang that in my house. So anyway, and then once I got done with that, I switched over to Mediterranean. Oh, here's this, just so you see what it generally is going to look like when it's done. And then I switched over to Mediterranean Mermaid. I did this for a couple reasons. This is Mirabilia. And I did this for a couple reasons. One, because it's one of my Stitch 6s for 2020 that Melissa and I are doing. We picked 6 of our whips to commit to being done with. I've only gotten one done. So I need to get moving on those. So that was one reason. Another reason is because I am going to be doing, Semi-Sane Stitchers is doing a bingo card for the month of June. I have chosen to do a sane bingo card, which is 50 stitches per color called. So I created my board. For those of you who don't know, the way you do you create your card, they created, number ranges for BINGO based on the DMC scale. And so you had to pick 5 numbers in each range for each letter for in because of the free space. And so you have to stitch on the color when it's called, and you, on the specific color. So you have to be able to get to that color. So I had picked 4 different colors to fill into the bingo card from Mermaid, most of which I actually wasn't to the point where I could get to. And so I decided that this week I was going to spend my time working on Mediterranean Mermaid, which was great. The Magical Stitches homework fit it for one category. It didn't fit it for the other category, but that's okay. I did the penalty stitches on this one. So I worked on Mediterranean Mermaid for both my Magical Stitches homework this week. And surprisingly, it went very fast. A lot of my stitching this week was Kreinik. Probably almost 1,000 stitches of what I've done was in Kreinik because the tail on this mermaid is stupidly insane with Kreinik. So I had pretty much had to like right here done, and then all of that tail, and most of that tail was Kreinik. So anyway, so I needed to get to a point where I could get to the bingo colors when they're called. And I'm just going to keep working on this. I've made a ton of progress on it. Like I said, so I was to right around here in, well, let's see. I had that much done right there, basically. And then this week I picked her back up and I finished that tail, and I'm well into her body, as you can see there. So anyway, so tons of Kreinik. I don't know if you can see the bling or not, but it's there. And then of course all the blank spots are beads. There's so many beads in this as well. This is 32 count Shimmering Pool by Fabrics by Stephanie. It's an old piece. I don't know if she still does this color or not, but I've had it for a while. I've had it for several years. So anyway, so Yeah, so I'll be able to get to the colors I need now. Like for instance, here you can see this color, whatever this particular color is right here. There's a hole right there. There's my 50. I've saved 50 stitches off in that color right there for when the number gets called in semi-stain. So, or semi-stain stitches for the bingo. So my goal is to honestly, potentially, well, for sure have all the stitching done on Mermaid in the month of June. The beading will be another story. There's so many beads. All of the holes that you saw are beads, but then also the tails are outlined in 3 or 4 rows sometimes of clear beads. So there's so many, and then you've got all of these beads around in here, all the way down and around and up here, and there's just a ton of beads in this piece. And so it's going to be beautiful when it's done, but it's gonna take a while to get the beading done. Like I said, I think I can have all the stitching done depending, well, I definitely can have the stitching done in June. Heck, I could probably have the stitching done in another week of stitching on her. Because I basically, the only stitching I have left are her arms, this vase, and her hair. Because I basically have her face done. But I've got to stay 200 stitches, 50 for 4 different colors, for when the numbers come up in bingo. And then I'll do all of the, once I have all of the stitches in, then I'll do all the back stitching, and then I'll do the beading. So anyway, maybe I can have this done in June. We'll see how I get on the beading when it comes to that point. Once I get into the beading, I think it'll go okay. I don't mind beading, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So for the bingo card, like I said, Mediterranean Mermaid's going to be on my list. Magnolia Fairy, which I don't have with me to show. It's also, that's actually a Nora Corbett one. I'm using that one for a few colors. I'm using my temperature tree for the brown, 839, I think. So I'm going to make sure I save off 50 stitches of that if I get back into the tree on that. So I'll have that. I'm going to start 2 of the Lizzie Kate little bits. I think October and September I have on my list to start, because I have 2 colors in that. Pumpkin Farm, I've got 4 or 5 colors attributed to that as well. So a lot of the pieces that I've been working on for the most part already, I've continued as best as I can into the bingo card. The newest one that I'm pulling in is Magnolia Fairy. Again, that's on my Stitch 6, so it needs to get worked on. I don't typically, it's not my favorite piece to work on. I love the piece, but I don't like, it's on a Silk Weaver solo, and there's just something about that fabric that I'm having an issue with. It's very loose, and I'm not a fan. But I just need to get her done and move on from that one as well. She has some beading as well, but not near as many. The little fairies don't have near as many as the big fuller pieces. So, and then the linens and threads, June. June portion dropped this morning for us in America because it's June already in New Zealand, Australia. And so it's already out online, and there's 3 pretty large motifs for that one. So at some point I'll pick that up for the month of June. Keep on track with that. And then the other piece that I want to spend some time on in June is going to be another Stitch 6 project, and that is going to be ABC Halloween by Lizzie Kate. And I'm over halfway done with it as of right now. This is where I'm at as of right now. And I'd like to, honestly, I don't know if I can get it done in June with all the other stitching that I want to do. This is on 32 count Vintage Country Mocha, by the way. I don't know if I can get it all done, but maybe. I don't know. We'll see. If not, hopefully by the end of July I can have this done. So I'd like to have Emerald or Mermaid, Mediterranean Mermaid, and ABC Halloween done. If not by the end of June, by the end of July, and then I'll be somewhat on track to be done with my Stitch 6s for the month or for the year. That'll just leave Magnolia Pixie, the Weather Vane by Little House Needleworks, and then another Lizzie Kate, the Boo Club Flippets that I'm doing. I want those to be done, but I think one of the groups, and it might be semi-sane, I'll have to check, is doing a Halloween stitching for the back half of the year. And I don't remember if it's semi-sane or not. But anyway, I need to look into that one. And probably I'll take that one out for that and just make sure I get some time on it. Those little flippets really don't take a ton of time to stitch. But you just got to sit down and do it. So anyway, so then that will accomplish my six stitch for 2020 that I'm doing with Melissa. As far as my smalls and ornaments, I've got 8 of those done. Our goal was 20. I've got 8 done through May. So I am a little off track maybe by one or two, but I have 4 more that I'm going to finish for the month Little Bits for Lizzie Kate. So that'll take me to 12. And then I just need to get some ornaments, do some ornaments, which I have plenty of little ornaments and things that I am going to work on for the year too. So anyway, other than that, that's pretty much what I've been doing for May. Like I said, I feel like I got a lot of stitching accomplished, quite honestly. I feel pretty good about where I'm at there. I feel good about my plan for June. Hopefully I'll get a lot more stitching done. And yeah, maybe get some finishes before I see you next time. Maybe not. We'll see. But yeah, other than that, I hope everyone is doing good. Like I said, I hope you're all getting a lot of stitching in. I hope the weather is starting to get nicer for you. And I think with that, I'm going to let you all go. Have a good day. Have a good week. And until I see you next time.